guys, I'm Dylan from Portland. Before I continue, please hit like and subscribe. I rushed back and told my mom, and she just laughed. You're a smart cookie, Dylan. There's no hurry to date boys. He apologized and we made up because I didn't want to lose my only best friend over some silly thing. My life was amazing. I had my mom and Jack, but everything changed after that summer. Mom surprised me with a packed suitcase and a brochure. What's this? I thought it would be good for you to get away and meet new people, since we can't afford a vacation this summer. No, I don't want to go. Jack and I already have plans, Mom. If you send me there, I'll just call you every day, every hour, or every second until you come and pick me up. Mom had made up her mind, and she wasn't changing it, no matter how hard I begged. The day had arrived, and I wasn't ready to leave Jack. He pulled something out of his pocket. It's a leather friendship bracelet. Mom let me buy it at the mall. I thought maybe you'd think of me while you had it on. Yeah, it's a bit flimsy, but we girls love it, right? He tied it on my wrist, and I was just adjusting it when, snap, it broke. Whoops. Good thing you didn't buy the pearl one. I'll fix it, and I won't ever take it off. I was crushed. I'd have to leave my best friend for an entire summer. As if that wasn't enough, when I arrived at camp, all the kids seemed to know everyone there already, and I felt like an outcast. So I was tossing rocks into the lake, lost in thought, when I felt a tap on my shoulder. Let's see who can skip rocks the farthest. No thanks. I guess I thought she was there to pick on me too, but she plopped down next to me and smiled. Oh, come on. It'll be fun. I'm Molly, by the way. Hey, Dylan, we go to school together, right? Yep. And you look like you could use a friend. So what do you say? Ready for a little friendly competition? Are you ready for me to kick your butt? I'm the best rock skipper known to man. Ha! We'll see about that. We had a blast, and I laughed my lungs out. From that day on, Molly and I became joined at the hip. Molly was more social than me, which helped me break out of my shell. I got to know other kids, and I felt like I fit in. I no longer called my mom to pick me up, and I felt myself changing. Until swimming day. No one had a clue that I couldn't swim, and I was too embarrassed to admit it. I tried, but it was like I was Titanicking without a lifeboat. Of course, a few jerk boys figured it out and started to poke fun at me. Imagine being 10 years old and having a bunch of kids laugh at you because you can't swim. I wanted to run off, but then Molly spoke up. Whoopsie daisy. It looks like I just peed in the pool a little. Of course she didn't, but the way those guys scrambled away was enough to give me a good laugh, and I felt my confidence creep back in, thanks to her. The rest of camp wasn't so bad after we put those boys in their place. Camp ended, and I got Molly's number to stay in touch. The first thing I did was go to Jack's. I was excited to give him a bracelet. I had made it in camp, but no one was home. Even his porch swing was gone. Mom, where's Jack? I'm sorry, Dylan, but Jack and his family moved away to California. He left you this. I was feeling devastated, but at least I could keep in touch with him, even though he was miles away. We started chatting and calling, and over the years, I started to like him more and more. As we got older, things changed, and he talked less and less until one day his calls just stopped. He even blocked his Instagram account. He totally ghosted me. I guess he found himself a girlfriend. Talk about a broken heart, but I still had Molly. At 16, we vowed to make our junior year the best ever, and maybe find ourselves some boyfriends. Did you talk to the new guy, Kyle? No, why would I? He keeps to himself. He's really cute. You're right, he's quiet, but I think I can get him to open up. You do have a knack for that. The final bell rang, but Molly continued gushing about Kyle. She always made me late, so we split, and I ran to class and I was about to sit, but I missed my seat. And butt planted on the floor in front of Towns Miller, the most popular guy in school, and my dream crush. My hopes and dreams of impressing him were ruined. I looked over, unaware that Kyle had been staring at me. Hey, Kyle. My face was beet red, but he ignored me anyway and turned his attention to his phone. Such a rude dude. I didn't tell Molly this, but she wasn't lying. Kyle was hot. After school, I went to the mall with Molly to look for dresses for our upcoming formal. Neither of us had a date, so we decided to go with each other. We both slipped the glamorous dresses on. I felt so pretty in mine, and despite the price tag, I was convinced I'd wear this gown to the formal. When I came out, Molly was already waiting for me and twirling in front of the mirror. Dylan, look at us. We look like the popular girls. Screw the popular girls. I feel like a princess. It felt magical. But as I looked in the mirror, I spotted Kyle standing outside the store, staring at us. OMG, Molly, look! And just as we both turned to look, my foot snagged my dress and ripped it right off my body. Wait, I need to make a run for it, or else you're gonna be paying for a $3,000 pile of rags. No, wait. OMG! What is this? This big shop filled with pitiful things? I can even sue you for this. We are very sorry. It's our fault. It was from a defective batch. I'll give you both a 50% discount on any dress you choose from the store. This day couldn't get any better. Despite flashing Kyle and the entire dress shop, we were still laughing at my mortifying moment right before we ran into Kyle. Kyle, hey, what are you doing here? I waved, trying to play it cool, but knowing Kyle had seen me embarrass myself a few times now, I felt like sinking through the floor into the pits of hell. But why did I care anyway? Molly was so into Kyle that it was nauseating. It's a mall, so I'm shopping. Kyle blushed when he looked at me. I hoped Molly didn't notice, but when I looked over at her, she was practically drooling over him. Get a grip, girl! Molly looked like a psycho Cheshire cat. I'm having a party this weekend. Wanna come over? Yeah, sure, I guess. Molly gave Kyle her number, and that's all she talked about on the ride home. And the next day at school wasn't any better. I was walking down the hall when Towns yelled, "Looks like Aunt Flo came for a visit." I spun around, totally puzzled, as everyone was laughing. Out of nowhere, Kyle came running over and wrapped his flannel shirt around my waist. "You can borrow this." I stood there and gawked at him, but then I realized I must have gotten my period. Of course, that would have happened in front of Towns of all people. Thanks, Kyle. He was so sweet, but I was bummed that Towns made fun of me. I talked to Molly, and of course, she made everything better. But before we left, she pointed to my waist. "This is Kyle's. I'm so jealous. I wish I had my period instead of you." She was like a lovesick puppy. Later that day, I found Kyle looking inside his locker. Why didn't he notice? Try again, Dylan. He peeked out, but I felt myself sweating when he turned his familiar gaze toward me. Thanks for this." "It's okay." Then he left, and I slammed my locker shut without realizing my hand was inside. Like always. Ouch! That weekend, Molly had her party, and Kyle was there. I gotta give the girl credit. She always went after what she wanted. The only problem was, I liked Kyle too. Ugh, why do I have to like the same guy my friend does? I stepped inside, and surprisingly, Towns walked right up to me. It turns out she also invited him. I know he made fun of me, but he was too handsome, so he deserved a chance. "You have a date for the formal, Dylan?" "I'm going with Molly." "No, you're not. You're going with me." "I am?" Towns moved his head close to mine, and I prayed I didn't have bad breath. "Yes, you. Molly's going with Kyle, so you're going as my date." Wait, what? Hearing Towns admit that he wanted me to go to the formal with him was amazing, but I was hurt that Molly made plans without telling me. Should I be mad? But why should I when we're both going with our crushes now? Molly was busy, so I walked over to Kyle since he was the only other person I knew there, and Towns was busy talking to his friends. "So, you and Towns, huh?" I nervously tugged at my old bracelet, something I've always found comforting since I was a kid. "It's nothing official. We're just going to the formal together. Molly probably had to bribe him to go with me." "What makes you say that?" "I'm not exactly Miss Popular, and Towns is like the school heartthrob, in case you haven't noticed." "Maybe he sees more in you than those popular girls. You're funny, kinda clumsy in a cute way, and a really good friend to Molly. You've got great qualities, Dylan." Excuse me? What? Is he flirting? The rest of the party went well. Molly and Kyle spent a lot of time together, and I got to know Towns a little better. Now let's jump to the night of homecoming. I went arm in arm with Towns. He looked amazing, and I felt like I was on cloud 9, standing next to him when everyone had their eyes on me and looking like royalty in my gown. I immediately spotted Kyle, but to my surprise, Molly wasn't with him. Towns immediately found his friends and left. I was kinda pissed, but I wouldn't let him get me down. This was my night to have fun. "Hey, you made it. You look beautiful tonight, Dylan." My heart skipped a beat when Kyle said those words, especially since Towns didn't even compliment me. My face got hot when he gave me a once-over. Everything about him that night screamed flirting. He couldn't possibly be into me, right? That would be bad. "You're wearing that bracelet again." His fingers brushed my wrist. "Kyle, if this is you flirting with me, don't bother." Just then, Towns swooped in and dragged me to the dance floor, and unfortunately, I smashed his toes as I tried to keep up with him. "You're brutal, Dylan. You need dance lessons." "You don't have to be such a jerk about it." I was leaving when he spun me around, lifted my chin, and moved his face close to mine. He was gonna kiss me, and I didn't feel ready at all. I panicked and ended up bumping my head on his chin. "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it." "Ouch, my lips. I brought you here as my date, and now I'm gonna go home with broken feet because of you. The least you could do is kiss me. Just then, Kyle stepped up to us. They both glared at each other, and Kyle looked so territorial. I have to admit, it was kind of hot the way Kyle looked like he wanted to strangle Towns, and I just realized that Towns had been the biggest blunder of my life. Whoa, calm down, guys. You better stay away, Towns. Just then, Molly walked up and pulled me away. Talk to her, Kyle. You promised, or should I say, Molly, that's enough. Hey guys, are you guessing the same? Is it like Molly left Kyle for me? Talk to me about what? Dylan, I'm not who you think I am, and I'm sorry I hid it from you. It's Jackie Kyle, or you know me as Jack. No, you must be kidding. He held my wrist, probably afraid I'd run away, and now I knew why his eyes felt so comforting all this time. It's me, Dylan. I moved back here with my mom so she could be closer to my aunt. You're Jack? All this time? Why would you lie to me, Kyle? Or should I call you Jack? I can explain, please. After we moved, things fell apart. My dad got mixed up in bad business, and my mom had to find another job when the police finally arrested my father. We moved to New York to be closer to family, and that's around the time you and I lost touch. I was embarrassed about my father and kinda shut everyone out. My mom even let me change my name so people wouldn't connect me to my con artist father. You didn't have to shut me out, Jack. You used to tell me everything. I know. I'm sorry. I didn't want to have to explain that my father was in jail. I figured no one would recognize me after all these years. I just wanted a fresh start, but hiding who I was from you was too hard. But who cares what people think? I don't care that your dad is in jail. You're still Jack, the boy who stole my heart all those years ago. Will you forgive me? I suppose I could consider forgiving you, but what about Molly? Molly knows my feelings for you and urged me to talk to you. What can I do to make you not hate me? I suppose if you kiss me, I could forgive you. You won't slap me and run away this time? Try it and find out. He kissed me softly, and it felt perfect, just as I thought it would. I felt like I was floating in the clouds. So, Jack and I reconnected, and we've been dating ever since. Molly eventually started seeing a super nice guy too, and I ended up having the best junior year ever.